Testing audio. Let's see, how's it doing here? Yeah, let's see, how's it? Cool. Sounds good. Alright, okay, welcome back. Picking up where we left off pretty much here. I'm going to be tackling a little bit more of this vest, I think. Just tweak this a bit. Just a little bit of tweaking. Alright, cool. So yeah, I think I'm going to be continuing to tweak this chest piece. I was kind of tackling some of the little cloth folds here earlier, and I think I might pick up with a little bit of that today. I've sort of got all these layers to build on top of, but I think just kind of, I was thinking I just kind of want to soften these edges up and just kind of make it feel a little bit more like there's a few layers all kind of blending together here. The standard brush seems to be working quite nicely for this. Just letting me kind of get in here and create a few of these subtle shapes. Fill in a little bit of this volume. Hey, Murders Media, and oh, Dota Bread, hey! Yeah, I don't know that I've done a whole lot since you were last watching, but yeah, just kind of tweaking this chest piece up a little bit more. Lots of little folds and wrinkles in here. I might throw some stitching. Probably not. Well, maybe have some fun throwing a little bit of stitching over this too, and get some maybe get some harder seams through some of these pieces. But yeah, thanks for dropping in again, and welcome back. Be just doing more sculpting. Lots to get done. I don't have, I don't really like the way that that's going. I won't have much of an opportunity to do this next week because I'm going to be away. So there won't be any stream going on next week, so I definitely want to work to make a little bit more progress on this. And just starting with these plates. Just filling this in with a little clay buildup. Like this brush. Just want to kind of level these plates up a little bit more. I think what I'm going to end up doing is kind of knocking these sharper edges back a little. So it sort of feels like it's layered under the surface here. You finished the bellow with my tips? Oh great, that's awesome. How'd it turn out? In here. Every so often you end up smoothing something you don't quite want to smooth. I'll probably have to separate these pieces out at some point and make that a little easier to work with. A little bit of that, and then I think this is where it kind of really sort of softens out, but we're kind of dealing with a different material there. Let me get rid of this gun. Let's soften that out a little. Let me get the seam there. Let me just kind of soften that out. There's a hole there. Just so that pocket. Through here. And I think if I'm going to start throwing seams over this, I'm going to need some more geo. Have to soften this out as well. I think I'll keep this piece separate. No, they both stay sharp. I'm going to leave that. That'll be a separate sort of piece. That way I don't have to try and sort out this transition. Because if I put cloth on the upper part and then treat this like some sort of metal plate, it's just going to end up being really hard to transition. I just can't think of another way to do it, I guess. Yeah, that'll work. Spread that out along. These sort of larger wrinkles on this front piece. So if I'm going to do like a stitch, let's see if this is going to work. Throw a few lines on this and see if I like it. I think I'm going to need some more resolution here though, so I'm going to double this up again, 256. And I don't always double, but early on I kind of like to, I find kind of hitting in between points usually doesn't help me as much. So I'm just generally going to kind of bounce up from 64 to 128 up to 256, and then once I hit 512 I'll generally kind of slow it back and tweak the value up a little bit more slowly, but that's mostly because I'm hitting really high poly counts by that stage usually. So it's sort of, that's why I'm kind of taking care of it in that order, I guess. Let's see. Throw that through here. Okay, so I wanted to see. Let's throw. I want to throw the stitch that I had in here back in. Make sure that that's still kind of in there. Let's just sort of soften this down. That way, when I carve it back in, it'll kind of get supported by that shape a little bit more. Am I doing that straight through? Yeah. So I'm just going to do that. I'll have to do. I kind of want it straighter through there though. Let's run it straight. Let's just do it this way. Just smooth it back and then do it again. Okay. Smooth this down a little bit. Still got some of the sharpness from the lower res Dynamesh. One of the downside to working with the Dynamesh so much, right? You kind of have to deal with the fact that your mesh will have to be sort of smooth back down a little bit. I guess that's why people kind of keep the blur on. I find I don't like the detail loss so much. Just kind of going back to that old habit again of being a traditional polymodeler as well, just kind of touching every point, going through every little nook and cranny of a model to make sure that it's the way that it should be. And I kind of carry that through here a little bit, so things can get a little tedious. But you know, sometimes you won't get that opportunity, of course. So. But I'm designing and I'm learning. So let's see. Let's cut that straight through there. Oh, throw it down a little bit. Just run this right up through here. This probably doesn't go all the way up, so that'll probably sit right to there. Yeah, so that kind of sits through there. And then maybe right off of that we get this seam. So I'll just smooth this down a little and just throw a seam right on that edge. See how that kind of ends up turning out. Kind of want it to run a little smoother. Maybe I'll go back and just do that over again with the lazy mouse up. This will give me a nice delay to the brush stroke and make it really easy to just control these edges and create that line just the way I need it. So just kind of run that down there. I can take my time with this brush because I find the slower you go here, the more controlled you get with this lazy mouse. Right? Take your time with it. Find the shape you're trying to describe. So I'm going to throw, I think I like this anyway, I think I'm going to throw a few of these lines over some of the transitions for the plates. Might give a little indication of how they were placed in there, which could be interesting as well. This is going to be a sharper transition as well. Kind of want to follow right along here. Split that with a little seam through here. And maybe right along that top edge. Yeah. Let's redo that. There we go. So we get sort of this little bit of material bunching through these seams. And then I can kind of take this out a little bit here so that the wrinkles sort of flow over these pieces a little bit more as well. We get a little bit of bunching on these edges too. That way I get a little bit more of that feeling of layers, right? All this different structure sitting on top of one another. You can see what that extra geometry is doing to make this a little easier to work with as well. Got little bits of support from the surrounding shapes as these wrinkles sort of fold out of here. Just want to kind of make sure that they're bunching up right there. And if this is sort of a lower piece, this will kind of interconnect, so I'm going to run that through like that until we hit this plate. So let's just smooth that transition out a little bit more and let these wrinkles kind of slice that one a little bit. those wrinkles kind of flow through the shirt a little bit more. And I'm probably better off doing this mostly asymmetrically from here. I could have done that a little sooner, I think, actually. Just not thinking about it at the time, but it's always nice to get those little asymmetrical details through here. I really don't like that area. I feel like I've got a lot of wrinkles kind of overlapping for these shapes. Yeah, I can do a little bit of this sort of shape that I've been playing with on the rest of the piece here. Doesn't really work though. The bigger fold I think was working better. Just cut that in there. Just throw a lot of smoothing on it and see if that kind of does what it needs to do. And then I'll just kind of keep that little bit of pinching through here. Just throw a little bit of that standard brush, vary those lengths up a bit, and just smooth it back. And just get a nice that stitched sort of feel, and I'm just gonna keep smoothing it back until it kind of reintegrates. I find just the more you kind of get that smoothing shape in there, get that smooth down and relax that surface out, just kind of cleans out that front edge of the wrinkle enough that it doesn't extend out too far. You can kind of reincorporate into the surrounding fold structure a bit better. A little bit of that there, that's okay. Let's go back in with that organifier and continue this seam around here. This will run up through here and across through here. So split that panel as well, and then I can kind of soften that transition out a lot more. Just start getting those little folds in, especially off of that corner there. Lost the seam a little bit there. Just throw that back in. Just carve that through there. Oh. And kind of smooth that back before I throw another line through there. In a little bit more. This is a more definite change in the pieces. I'm gonna kind of make sure this stays consistent too. Maybe I'll carve this in, trim that angle back down to where it was. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's something that would have been good to do symmetrically. I haven't remeshed it. Let's see. Good old resim. Just throw a quick mask on that area. Invert the mask with Control Tap, and then not deformation. Oh yeah, deformation. Smart resim. No, I want to do it the other way. This is gonna take too long, isn't it? No! Wait for the program. Wait for it. Wait for it. This is the magic of ZBrush. Everyone always freaks out. Everyone always closes ZBrush after this happens. But I wait. Oh, I wait. Wait as long as you can stand to wait. Because ZBrush will come back. It's just thinking. I really hope it's just thinking. Think really, really hard. We're gonna be okay. This is the most exciting Twitch ever. This is pretty extreme. I'm on the edge of my seat. ZBrush is coming back. Almost coming back. Come on back. Come on back. You can do it. You could do it. No. I know if I give it time. Computer's doing something. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it through this, I swear. Did that change? I swear that changed. Analyzing mesh symmetry? Maybe not. Maybe it was like that all along. Okay. Oh, I don't know when that autosave was either. Oh, this is why you gotta save. Whatever you're doing right now, save it, guys. That's the best advice I can give. Yeah, I think this is done. That's unfortunate. Let's start that sucker back up. Alright. What do we got in the quick save here? Well, it's not too bad. I think I'm just kind of missing some of the seams and the wrinkling, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay. I can live with that. I can do that. I can do that again. It's easy. Just throw these lines down. Okay, so we had that. Oh, is this heavier yet? I think that's it. I think that's right, yeah. Yeah, that's totally right. Okay. Let's just throw that down there. With that organifier. Throw that roll distance back up. Maybe get that lazy mouse on there. Yeah. Smooth that transition out a bit. Alright, let's do this again. No problem. Alright, oops. There we go. Smooth that out. Just drop that line right down there. Okay. Yeah. It's always what gets me. Wait, what did I do? How do I do that again? Every time. Okay, I think it was this, and then this. If not, it's a new iteration. We get to try something new, I guess. Lucky me. I want to do this one as well, but... What if it was this? This outside edge only. Yeah. I don't think I got down there before, but it's okay. That's gonna kind of sit underneath that there. It's not... Or maybe I should carry that through just in case. Okay. Okay. Alright, so we got that. I don't think I can do that, can I? It has to go down to... This one's just different. I gotta move this. Smooth that out. This has got to sit down at the bottom of the edge because this plate sits on top. That's got to get tucked in a little bit further. Worked out better, I think, this time. That just means that's also harder cut. That edge in. Let's do a little more lazy step here, see if I can clean up that line. It's a bit better. Just gotta be careful with it though. Smooth that down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that sits on this piece, which I'm also going to do the same way. That's a little sharper than I need it to be. Let's drop the intensity down on this just a bit. I definitely find, you know, when you're using that sort of Damien standard style brushes and stuff, one thing that works really well is just to kind of crank up things like the lazy step and the roll distance, but at some point they kind of change the way the brush works, so it's nice to go back and just adjust that back up. I think that gives me a bit of a better idea of how I want that to sit. Nudge that back a little. There we go. Over here. Oh, where'd the paint come from? Turn that RGB off. There we go. This I'm gonna keep like as a stitched piece, but with like a separate part to it, I think. So this will kind of wrap over. So that's gonna tuck under. And just throw a quick mask on that side so I don't end up pushing it in the wrong way. There we go. Now I can just throw a little polish down that whole shape. Smooth that out. Oh. Looks like I got a little bit too carried away there. And maybe I can kind of throw this edge in a better spot while I'm here. This is the sort of stuff it's easy to get caught up in brushing. It doesn't really help to spend a lot of time here though. Gonna have to clean it up with some better tools later, like the clip brush or something, but I don't really want to get it that exact just yet. Just don't think I need to worry about that until I really get a better sense of what I'm doing with the rest of it, so I'm not gonna fiddle too much, I think, here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's build this out a little bit more. Is that it? Let's remesh that. Oh, that'll work. Remesh is definitely going to kind of take some of the edge out of this. So, well, maybe it's time. I'm at 1.6 million. I don't really want to go up any higher if I can avoid it. Some weird delay here. There we go. Let's just kind of clean this up then. Keep it simple for now. Build this out a little bit more. Get that back face mask going. Fill this in a little bit better. This is starting to kind of collapse and sculpt out awkwardly, so a little bit of time here goes a long way. Remesh it, smooth that back down, there we go. Oh, okay, now I see what I'm doing. Huh. Let's just adjust that a little bit. I don't want that to sit. Yeah, that should be about right. Okay, let's do the rest of these lines. I use the 13 HD Cintiq. I really like it. Quite nice to work with. Yeah, I've got yeah, one of the Cintiqs with the display built into it. It's really quite nice. I picked this up a long time ago, and I used to work off of my laptop a lot, so I had this sort of mobile rig of sorts where I'd kind of cart it around and use it plus the Cintiq to kind of do personal work like this. But ever since I've gotten my new PC rig here, I kind of prefer working at home. I guess it's a little sad because I also have access to a really nice 27 HD too. Used it a little bit, but it's really nice. I'd use it more for this, but I just don't want to. I actually kind of like the smaller form factor a little bit, but the 27 HD is just crazy, but unfortunately its resolution is just so damn high. I don't even know if I'd want to stream with it. But it is a beautiful machine. You've got the Intuos Art medium. Yeah, I used an Intuos for a long time. They're great. We have a few mediums at school, and I really like them. If I was to use like a non-Cintiq, I would definitely use one of those. I like the medium size. I had a Intuos 2 that was a 6-inch, and it kind of feels similar to working on the 13 HD, but it's not one of those overly large surfaces, and I really like that. Yeah, the bigger Cintiqs can give you a bit of a workout, right? You get so much ground to cover. Now, I mean, granted, you can work in the bottom corner of it or whatever, right? I think for me this works out well because I've got, you know, two additional monitors to kind of work off of. But at the resolution of the 27-inch, it's you almost don't need to worry about that either, right? You got so much real estate on that monitor. But I definitely do enjoy, or do like to have the I kind of prefer the extra monitors to some extent. Not that I wouldn't jump at the chance to have a 27 HD to myself. do love the old, the smaller tablets. We have some larges at work, and they're just, I just find them awkward. Jacket, yeah. Alright, let's throw a few. I think this is like a. What I want to do with this, I think I wanted to keep this pretty soft, so it's kind of. Let's do this as a sharp transition, but pull lots of little folds out of this. Maybe this kind of zigzags back and forth here. We get these sort of really small. Oh, it's not shift. These really small little folds through here, just kind of. It's just like it's like a really soft, sort of flexible piece. Just kind of throw that in there a little bit. Sculpt that fold under there. I'll just kind of tuck it underneath that plate for now. Oops. Same thing over here, right? Just kind of push this in a little bit. Reference here for this. That should work okay. Bit of an idea anyway. So a little bit heavier on this fold, but don't need too many of them. Oops. Smooth that down. I'm just gonna take that and fold that over this way a little bit. Tricky. I'm gonna solo this for a sec so I'm not worrying too much about what I'm pushing the geo through. Keep that a little flatter. Let's just get one small sort of fold coming off of this edge here. Just tuck that in a little bit like that. Yeah, I think that'll kind of do what I want. Just a little bit of that fold through there. Okay, and then I can throw the seam on here. The organifier, just sharpen up that edge. So this one will be metal up through here, I think. Have to be symmetry, so I can start just kind of, I'll just re-sketch this part. Learned my lesson trying to resim things too much here. Just gonna get that in there. And then after this section, the cloth sort of reintegrates. I think that kind of makes sense. I was kind of trimming this back, so maybe that sort of steps off this way, and then cuts in. And I was doing this originally anyway. Now it just needs the fold coming off of it, so that actually works out. And that's where the cloth comes back up. So we get the stitch and then the edges of the metal. And that's the other transition here. And across that edge. Nudge that out a little further. Throw a quick little mask along that. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Oops. Let's see. If I ever use group loops, yeah, I have. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. I don't use them that often these days, but I used to use them a little bit. I didn't really start doing a lot of hard surface until I could kind of organize it into things like panel loops, so I tend to use that a little bit more. And I use the remesher a lot to kind of clean up topology from that process, if that makes any sense. But why do you ask? Just clean up the shape here a little bit. I'm not quite sure how I want to tackle all of this gibberish that I sculpted when I was designing this thing. Gonna be a fun experiment to figure out what that's all gonna be. This is probably why I'm distracting myself with the rest of the cloth still here, is because I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that yet. Clear the area around the neck a little bit better. I should kind of tighten up these edges a little bit. Everything's a little on the thick side at the moment. It's thicker than I kind of want it to be. Focus on kind of thinning this surface down a little bit. Don't need to do a whole lot. I just need to kind of make the edging work. Got a little fold there, I think, so I'm just gonna clean that up. I'll have to do some asymmetry work there. Pull this out a little bit. Yeah, it does. I was looking at what he was doing and just thinking it would help a little bit. So. Oh yeah, definitely. You know, I do, and I guess I kind of. It's just been so long since I've used them now. I'm not sure how I would use them anymore. But that's probably just my lack of experience using them. Did you have something particular in mind where I might be able to make use of them to help with the shape? I mean, I could definitely see lots of these elements kind of being isolated down and structured out a little bit more. I think I'm probably going to actually slice them out and just sort of detail them up as separate pieces at some point, and maybe I should start doing that now actually, just so I can start fleshing out the shapes a little bit more. But I can kind of do a little bit of that and maybe give you an idea of what I had in mind for this, and if you think the group looping would help in some way, let me know. But yeah, I'd be happy to hear your thoughts. I'm gonna kind of separate this first plate out though. Always a big step, because I think I want to kind of flesh out the cloth in the back a little bit more, figure out how the spinal piece attaches, and kind of go from there. So I need to start pulling all these pieces off, and fortunately I've got them kind of blocked out here, so I'm going to be using the slice tool to separate these pieces out a little. And if we turn on the polyframe here, I'm just going to clear out any polygrouping that I've got, and then use the slice curve tool. Let's make sure we save this all up here. So just throw this back into my folder. Where is this thing? Only files. Six. There we go. Well, you've come right inside my head. I best to try to describe what I'm doing fairly constantly here, so hopefully you'll get an idea. Yeah, I'm gonna be kind of slicing through a lot of this stuff to basically just kind of build the panels that I want, and then I'll just extract that. So I'm going to kind of start with the panel. Too concerned with the lines themselves. I really just want to kind of get the shape out here. You could probably mask and extract this just as perhaps even quicker than through this process for what I'm going to do. But I guess I just kind of want something that I'm going to be able to work with a little bit more. And I gotta because that did not go through the whole poly group there. Slice that up. So I do want to watch these curves, make sure I'm on the edge too much. I'm going to bend and distort the shape a bit. I'm going to flatten some, so it might make a huge difference, but so I'm going to repolish. Let's go back a little bit. Just slice through that. Where's that angle? Somewhere around there. Okay. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll kind of get a sure it needs to be just a little smaller. Perhaps it needs to be just the kind of shape that I want. What I'll probably just flatten it back out. Hour 11 mark. Oh crap. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, the stream likes to about the 1 hour 11 minute mark. Oh, and here we go. So with that in mind, it looks like we have a few issues. I'll just stop and start this right so that we don't have any problem. So bear with me. Start the stream here.